does a win over the Steelers feel a little extra sweet?
I want them to die a slow death. I want them to lose for 35 years. I want them to keep drafting #1 draft picks and then they never play because they decided that they didn't like football and went on missionary trips. I want these dudes to die a slow death. I don't never want them to be competitive. I don't never want to see Mike Tomlin win no more championships. I don't want their colors. I don't like Heinz Field. I don't even eat ketchup on none of my stuff because of these suckers. I don't like them, bro. Get up out of here.
There is nothing better than a victory Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It's the two things that are best in the world married together.
No,
and we
that's true.
today get a victory Friday.
And we got
I disagree
a rant.
with you. And I disagree with you, G. Bush.
Why?
I want them to be good.
Oh, no.
I want to be the reason they don't go to the playoffs. It's no fun beating them when they're 0-16.
I just want Z to have a rant like that. Keep ranting like that.
Hey, it feels good to see them take L's. I take a great joy in seeing them languish.
I get what you're saying. It's a mix, right? Like,
Yeah, but do you
part
want
of
them
it,
to be
like
bad? You don't want them to be bad.
Part of it, you want, like when Ohio State plays Michigan, you don't want them to be 4-8.
And that's what I compare
Yeah,
it to. When
right.
we beat Michigan and they're 6-5, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
We were supposed to. When they're good and we beat them, that's the perfect scenario
That's
for
right.
me.
I know. I like to
But
see
just beating them is great.
I like to see their tiles diminish.
I think you're missing the point. We've taken a lot of L's in the years, right?
A lot of
A
them.
lot of L's here.
Yeah.
Can I dance on you for a little bit? Can I enjoy myself
this year? If Pickett might be the next coming Bart Starr, but who knows? This year, y'all looking trash, and I'm gonna take great joy in it.
Jay, it took Ohio State about 15 years of beatdowns to Michigan. Now we're tired. We want you to be better.
Well, we gave them the win last year, and it makes this year's game more interesting.
Right.
By the way, the overall career series now, 77 wins for the Steelers, 61 for the Browns, and a tie. So we can win the next 16, and it's just going to be even,
Right.
which is kind of depressing. But also, shout out to Kevin Stefanski, first Browns coach since the rebirth in '99 to get 3 victories against the Steelers.
Oh, well.
It's amazing.
That is absolutely
Yeah.
demoralizing.
Well, I mean, think about it. The Steelers, since I was born, I'm a little younger than you guys, but since you guys have more than I do, but since I was born, and I'm 51, the Steelers have had 3 coaches. The Browns have had, I think, 23.
That's disgusting.
I mean, which is amazing.
Disgusting.
So they've changed coaches so often. Kevin Stefanski needs to go to coach, I think, 6 more games to be the longest tenured coach since I've been here in 12 years, which is hard to believe.
And speaking of Stefanski, shout out to Stefanski. Because I give people credit, right? Before, I have been on him.
Are you going to stop calling him Little
no,
Einstein?
This is week by week.
Medium Einstein?
Stop playing with me.
Yeah, medium Einstein.
Stop playing with me. So here's the story. What I want to see in coaches, right, that you have the ability to adjust and grow.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches come out here and they say, okay, this is my thing. I'm going to plug and play. Everybody, you're just going to do what I need to do. No. Look at your personnel.
Yeah.
And then adjust your game. Now, you've seen over the last couple weeks, he's adjusted his game.
Still wanted to see more of Chubb and Hunt together.
Yeah, we got a little of it yesterday.
We did once. It worked.
It did big time.
Big first down.
We had about 4 plays.
There were a few plays. But that one play in particular, that 4th down play
that was
huge.
the big one. And I think Herbstreit even said at the time, when those guys are in the backfield at the same time, the defense needs to control alt delete. They don't know what to stop, what to try to cover.
Well, you're panicked. I mean, you're panicked about Nick Chubb because Nick Chubb's the best running back in football. And then Kareem Hunt goes in motion, and you're like, well, he's great, too. What the hell are we doing here?
Then at the end, Brissett started running, too, a little bit.
Sure. He only had 3 carries for 11 yards, but those were
critical big ones.
Critical.
He is a first down master when it comes to the 4th and short.
He is.
He learned from the best in Tom Brady.
Right.
And he almost scored the touchdown on the one near the goal line.
If he had kept his balance, he would have scored.
He was into the end zone.
The other thing is, you can see he's big and strong.
Yeah,
that's true.
He does have some size.
They cannot take. How many times they hanging on his legs think they were going to take him? They're like, I'm not going down.
A lot to get to today. We're going to sort of break it up into halves. In the first half, we're really going to focus in on the Browns' offense. We have DeQuell Jackson. Also, Tyvis Powell is going to be here in the second half hour. He's going to break down. Most likely, I think he's going to break down that crazy onside kick again. This is easy, guys. This is not.
Yeah.
This is not.
We got to ask Tyvis, are they coaching that for some reason?
We're going to get into
it's
this.
happened 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah,
this is a glaring weakness.
Yeah,
here.
it is.
Glaring.
He broke down the play.
Yeah.
On Wednesday or
and they
Tuesday,
did it again.
whenever he was in, and exactly the mistake they made in not recovering the onside kick against the Jets. They made the exact same mistake, which could have easily led to the. Can you imagine if the Steelers recovered that onside kick?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Oh, my God.
There wouldn't have
And
been.
let's stop taking the kickoffs out of the end zone. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
Getting tackled at the 15-yard
Didn't work
line?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, yes, the Guardians won. You can clinch it. I check every day.
Yeah.
They're at 99.9% locked to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they got it.
That number is familiar, 99.9.
Yes. I'm not living my fears. 5 to clinch. We'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Guardians for sure. I really think for our discussion that our flashpoint is going to be Jacoby Brissett.
Oh, yeah.
Because just in listening to some of the comments from you guys this morning, we've got a huge discrepancy on where Brissett is. His numbers, good for him. 21 of 31, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'll mention the 10 incompletions. He had 4 or 5 balls that were in the receiver's hands.
Yeah.
They were 2 of them were overturned. He could have easily been 26 of 31.
Tremendous.
What he's doing is what we thought he could do.
Right.
Accurate short passes and not throw it to the wrong colored jerseys. So he's been very, very, in terms of what we expected of him, I think he's exceeded our expectations. But, G. Bush, I want to start with you because you're ready to say that this guy is, I don't think you're going to put him in an elite category, but your opinion of Brissett is much higher than I think everyone else on the panel.
He's playing in the top. He's playing in that top 15 level right now. If we're gonna go week,
well, that's upper half. That's average. That's
listen. Upper half. Well, you can argue where that in that 10 to 15 we talking about. If we go on week to week, I'm watching these games. First of all, his arm is much more strong than I thought it was. I mean, he's putting the ball on a rope in these situations.
He almost knocked Amari Cooper's helmet
off.
Smoke. 30 yards yard.
He just listen. His mobility. He ain't that mobile. It don't look good, but he's scrambling from yards. He's getting first downs, and on top of that, leadership. When you see him getting that huddle and him getting guys together, he's galvanizing people, and they are making plays. Another thing that I'm watching, I'll give Kevin Stefanski credit. Their team is the most multiple in the league in terms of formations, shifts, sets where you're getting up and moving. Multiple people. He got tight ends moving from one. It looked like a Monopoly board. I'm like, dang, bro, you everywhere. And they have no pre-snap penalties, no false starts. They don't have any 11, 12 men in a huddle.
Well, they did have a 12 on the field yesterday.
They had one of those. But I will say this: Jacoby Brissett right now is playing better than anybody thought he was. I don't see any throws where he can't literally make them. Besides that first game, he didn't throw the ball deep, but he had a long one to Amari Cooper where he stepped out of bounds. That could have counted. Amari Cooper dropped another one that would have salted the game away. I think he's playing the best football of his career, and to me, you just got to put some respect on his name. They can win against a lot of teams on this schedule if he's playing that way.
Well, I'll let you go next because you're not.
I don't want to be negative about Jacoby Brissett. I think we just got to be realistic, right? I don't disagree with most of what you said. I mean, he's played better than I thought. I mean, he was awful in the first game. Let's face it, he was awful. And Kevin Stefanski, by the way, deserves a lot of credit. The offense, I think, he's had a great game plan for all 3 games. The first game, it didn't look as good because Jacoby Brissett didn't execute. That's a fact. Okay, Jacoby Brissett didn't execute the first game. The last 2 games, Jacoby Brissett has executed. I don't want to diminish him. I love the way he's playing. We got to be realistic about what he is. Anybody that would ever have a conversation about starting Jacoby Brissett over Deshaun Watson is an idiot.
Well, someone's trying that already.
We're not drinking.
That's absurd.
It is absurd.
But Jacoby Brissett, something he's never done in his career is be accurate. He's never been an accurate passer. I rip Baker all the time for being inaccurate, which he's not. And Jacoby Brissett's even worse. His career completion percentage is horrible. But in these last 2 games, he's been on the money. He's made almost no bad throws.
Do you think that's the Stefanski factor?
It may be. I mean,
it looks like he's being coached up to a level that we've never seen him play at before.
You know what? They are scheming guys open, which we always said, well, why don't they do that? Well, and some people say, well, maybe they did and Baker couldn't get him the ball. I don't know. But the game plan's been on point. And the first game, he missed all the throws. And these last 2, he's been completely comfortable. There's no pressure on him. The offensive line's been outstanding. And he's making all the throws. So I don't want to diminish what he's done. He's played well. But let's be realistic what he is in the grand scheme.
Can we have a round of applause, by the way, for David and Njoku for finally earning that money? I mean, guys,
phenomenal game.
Last night, he looked like Kelsey.
Absolutely.
He looked like the guy that deserved that 4-year extension.
He was phenomenal.
And Brad, I want you to start on something that you were really hot on last week.
Right,
and I think we all were.
Well, let me get a little of this
and that's
Brissett
the
action,
lack
too.
of leadership.
Yeah.
We kept saying,
Right.
whose team is this?
Yeah. Right.
Leaders are born and they emerge organically. And I thought when he picked up that first down inside the 10-yard line and threw his right arm forward for first down and yelled at the crowd to let's go, that was the spark I've been
awesome.
looking for. To me, that play was the anointment of him as the leader of this team.
So let us be clear. So Brissett has been playing outstanding football for the Browns, right? He's not Mahomes. He's not Brady. I'm not looking for him to be Brady. I'm looking for you to manage the game. And the thing I saw last night, and you can tell from even the players' commentary for who were doing the commentary, right? The other players that were analyzing the game. Jacoby Brissett has ended up as the de facto leader of this team. You can see it, right? They rallied to him, right? And they rallied to him, and I think it has inspired his play. And I'll give Stefanski credit. He has put him in a position
100%.
where he can be successful. But he's only in position because I got the 2 studs behind me in the backfield.
Right.
Right. You have to be concerned about them, right? Then you have the other thing. You add this to Brissett. You can see Amari Cooper is a precision route runner. Precision. And Jacoby Brissett is throwing balls before Amari Cooper's even made the break.
Yeah, we saw it a couple times.
And I'm like, here's the story, right? But I tell you what the glaring weakness is. No, before I get to the glaring weakness, Brissett has taken the control of the mantle. His job is to get me to game 11. That's what your job is to do.
Yeah.
And he has assumed the throne.
Yes,
right?
he has.
And the guys are backing him up like, I'm with you. And when you can get to 4th and 1, they're running around, grabbing your leg and not going down, not taking a sack. That is inspiring to the rest of the guys. Now, what I will tell you on the other side of it is this. The glaring weakness, as I said months ago when we started in the summer here, that other wide receiver position, it's a problem.
Well,
I'm getting nothing out of that. Nothing.
You hear the numbers, and they're terrifying. Wide receivers not named Amari Cooper yesterday caught 2 passes for 16 yards.
They're invisible.
2. Bell had one for 6 yards, and DPJ had one for 10 yards.
But they weren't targeted much.
I know they weren't targeted, but Bull, at some point, teams defensively are going to start bracketing Cooper.
Yes,
They're going
they
to
are.
start playing gimmick coverages on Cooper, and other wide receivers are going to have to
I hear
emerge.
you. I hear you. I'm not as worried about it. Yes, when they play better teams, they
2
haven't
for 16
They haven't
yards,
played any
Bull.
good teams yet. When they play good teams, it's
haven't.
going to get trickier. I don't know. I think I don't want to make a big deal about it because they're not targeting those guys. If they need to, they will. DPJ had a pretty good game last week. I mean, he had a decent game last week.
He had 0 catches last week. You're talking about
Or 2 weeks
ago.
ago. I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago.
The first
2 weeks
game,
ago.
he had 3 catches the first week.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Njoku had a huge game. What is the difference if he's a wide receiver or a tight end?
No, I know.
No, there's
But
a difference. There's a difference between the tight end and the wide receiver.
Yeah,
The tight end is here.
Well,
I find him.
Can anybody name the number 1 wide receiver on the Chiefs for me right now?
Well, listen,
Where
it's
do you
hard
go?
to it's hard to in most years because and it might be the tight end. I don't know if it's Kelsey or not, but they do a great job of spreading the ball around.
And we're not talking about number 1s here. We're talking about balance here. That's what we're talking about.
And we are nitpicking too. I'm a little with you. It's like hard to say. Wow. Okay.
I got Kareem Hunt and David Njoku.
I'm looking down the road here. I'm off of last night's game. I'm looking down the road here. I'm going to need balance on that side.
I hear you, but if they're not targeted, then what do you expect? They didn't get targeted.
You had Bell on a crossing route, right? Yeah. And what I saw last night, G,
He got hawked.
no speed. None.
But
You come on down
on
here.
that play in particular did not look
They
like
got
it.
2 glaring weaknesses, and we all know what they were. It's the receiver room, and it's the D tackles. We'll wait to talk about the
Yeah, the D tackles are going to
I
come
don't know.
up.
I think you make it too. Like, can we get to the running backs for a minute?
We can. Before we move on from the wide receivers, I just wanted to throw this out there
Bounce.
because
We on the good stuff.
this is so the numbers. Amari Cooper 7 catches, 101 yards, a touchdown. Njoku 9 catches, 89 yards, a touchdown. The 2 of them combined were targeted 21 times, they had 16 catches
Right.
for a combined 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we've always talked about the dynamic duo in the backfield.
Right.
The Browns appear to have a dynamic duo. If they can
Balance.
consistently get this kind of production out of Njoku, they might now have a dynamic duo in pass catchers. If they do, that Fab Four,
that's fine.
Those 4, that's going to be enough.
Right.
To
You don't
keep
need
you
a
in the game
receiver.
against the Bills and
I
the
see what you're
Chiefs
saying,
and
Bull.
anybody
You know
else.
what I'm saying?
I see what
and
Bull
Kareem
gonna say.
Hunt is catching passes too.
If they're gonna have 2 people they pass catchers, then so be it.
Sure.
Like maybe them other dudes is only gonna catch a couple footballs here and there,
I mean,
sparingly. You can't have 3
you don't
headed
have to
monsters.
have a number 2 wide receiver
Like
to be
you-
great. Some teams do. A lot of teams don't.
If
Well,
Njoku can catch the ball
when they
and
get a
run
lock-
after catch, I'll take that.
Sure. When they
Yeah.
get a lockdown corner on Cooper, that's when these other wide receivers
Balance.
are just going to have to step up,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
we have to hope that there's chemistry between
Right.
Brissett and these other guys.
I-
Because so
I
far
just-
we've seen nothing.
I just think the Browns' running game is so dominant and the defense is so worried about the running game that it's hard to and Amari Cooper's such a precise route runner. They can't really double team him too much because the safeties are worried about the backfield a lot.
Yeah.
When you're playing the Browns.
I'm more worried about the lockdown corner.
But how many lockdown corners are there?
There are a lot.
Guys, if you
No,
look-
there's not.
if
On
you
these
look
good
at 'em-
teams, there are a lot.
They're
a lot.
out there, and if you
They're a
look at
lot.
Amari Cooper's stat lines from the last couple of years,
Yeah.
he has games like this. But unfortunately,
He's
he also
inconsistent. He's
throws.
been inconsistent.
He throws in a
Yeah.
clunker where he'll have 4 catches for 37 yards. He'll do that here. There's no question that he's going to have a game like that. All we're saying, I think Brad and I, and I think G. Bush, you might co-sign
There's
this
no
too.
scary corners in this
when
division.
that happens,
Yeah.
one of these other guys from this gaggle of receivers
Yeah.
that really have done nothing, they're going to have to step up and prove that they can carry the load if a team decides you're not getting the ball to Cooper.
Agreed. But you don't need Donovan Peoples-Jones to have a big game every week. Once in a while, he needs to step up.
You're right.
That's the case on most teams.
I know somebody.
Yeah.
I know somebody will be available around November.
Odell Beckham Jr.
You crazy, right?
I know somebody.
Let's not start that
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Let's not start that yet.
I'm the king of starting stuff.
Because I brought up yesterday and Dominic
training
Sue,
well.
Yeah.
who
He
there
training
was a
well.
report
I like
yesterday.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
There was a
love it.
report
What'd you say,
yesterday,
Jay?
and Dominic Sue, according to a report yesterday,
Yeah.
is considering 3 to 5 teams.
Browns should be aggressive there.
People close to Sue say he wants to play for a contender. That's why last night's game, guys, was so big.
Yeah.
I know it's 2-1 and 1-2, but there is a huge. We're in first place.
Huge difference.
So I'm not saying they're going to sign him, but I'm saying I'm having a lot of conversations with his agent.
Yeah.
Because after watching, and we'll get to this, I don't want to start this now, but
Okay.
the defensive tackles, they are who we thought they were. We absolutely have to be stronger in the middle moving forward.
Well, the other-
We've gotten away with it so far, but
There was a stat.
throw Sue in there, and now you've got 3 top draft picks between Clowney, Garrett, and Sue.
There was a stat line yesterday, Jay, that have you seen Myles Garrett's number without Clowney?
Yeah, it's
So that
depressing.
tells me that.
No, the fans are going to get mad at you if you say Myles Garrett had a bad game last night.
Well, listen.
we're not saying Myles Garrett had a bad game.
Well, he had. he had
I'm
2
saying
tackles.
that. He didn't do
Two
much.
tackles.
What we're saying is this: in order for him to be at optimum level,
He needs that other bookend.
we need another book. And then if you put Sue in the middle there,
who's a run stopper and can get
Now
after
we talk
quarterbacks.
like-
He shouldn't need Clowney to be
But
great.
hold on.
Right.
T.J. Watt played with Hayward. And let's not act like Hayward is not a beast.
on, yo,
No, of course
you're a
Hayward
Buckeye.
helps
What you
TJ
talking about?
Watt.
Stop playing with me.
Watt is
Stop
like,
playing with me.
that's my guy right there. When you got somebody else that's taking up blocks, when you watched yesterday, they had the tight end over there, they had the running back. Najee Harris was giving them a forearm. Chipping them. I'm like, dang, Robbie, man. It's hard to get home. Now,
Can't get your money off.
It's hard. You want Myles Garrett to be optimum, and he can't be optimum. If I'm playing the Browns, I'd single block everybody.
The word I use, G, out here, you're going to hear it from me all the time, and I don't care what sport it is, you need balance out here. And then balance allows the superstars to shine.
Or let me throw this out there, because this was, again, it was driving me nuts last night. They know they don't have Clowney, so they know that they're going to have to come up with other ways to put pressure on. Where were the exotic blitzes?
Nothing. There was nothing.
Where were the linebackers? Where were the safeties coming?
Yeah.
It was 4 pass rushers.
That
for
was
most
that
of
was
the
a
night.
big disappointment. They got no pressure on the
Huge
quarterback.
disappointment.
Them safety's not coming because they got burned up the last 2 weeks. They staying in the back.
Hey, they
I'm
cleaned
coming
that
up front.
up.
They
But
did
they
clean
cleaned
that
that
up.
up last night.
Well, as far as we know, there were no breakdowns. Just got taken
They
advantage
did it
of.
one time. Mitch Trubisky has problems with the A-gap blitz. They put Taki and Phillips in the A-gaps. Phillips comes clean.
He played
Yeah,
really
he got
well.
it.
And he gets
He
the sack.
He got home.
Yeah.
By the way, Phillips played great.
played
Great.
Played great.
Phillips played
Mitch
great.
Trubisky's not that good at football, by the way.
An MRI is scheduled for today, and I mean, I haven't heard anything. I think they called it a sprain last night.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out more from that later today. Let's just hope.
talking
that
about
it's
Anthony
not,
Walker?
Yeah, Walker.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just hope it's not, an
It
looked
MCL
bad.
or PCL.
By the way, the block-
When was the flag? By the way,
The block, there was a flag, wasn't
No,
there?
on Okafor.
I don't think the block was a dirty play.
Bro,
He fell on.
He fell on him at the end. That should
He
have been a
didn't fall
penalty.
on him. He jumped on him.
That
That
was
is
in
a
a-
personal foul.
Right. That should have been a penalty to me, not the initial block. I don't know why
I'm
people got
not
worked up.
talking about the
Yeah.
initial block. I'm talking about when,
Jumping
when
on
he's
him at
on the
the
ground.
end.
He jumps on
I
him,
know, that was
and then we
crazy.
see him taking off on a cart.
That
and
should have
there's
been
no
a
flag.
penalty, the jump on the end.
Sumo belly slap to the back of the neck.
I don't know
and
what
then
that
somebody
was.
steps on his leg. That's why I don't
Yeah, I
like the
know.
Steelers.
Hey,
bro. I hate
nobody
them, man.
knows.
They were dirty last
They're
night.
the dirtiest. They've always been dirty.
If a
Always.
Browns player did that to a Steelers running back, there would have been 18 flags on the field.
Jay, no one knows the intricacies of this rivalry better than DeQuell Jackson, who came on
Right.
early